Hello and welcome back to Chaosbane. Last time we dealt with a cultist camp trying to bait out the Bloodborn, and he wasn't there. So now we gotta attack the Gorshev again.
There is no time to waste. You must strike now, before the Bloodborn realizes you've raided his camp.
I do not like this, Leonid. At least let me scout the area before the attack. This could be a trap.
Yeah. If you move quickly, you will have the element of surprise. That's all you need.
The situation might be more complicated than either of you realize. Helessa, you said there were fewer bodies at the Garden of Urson than there should have been.
Yes, the cultists must have taken them. By Isha, you think the Bloodborn took them captive and sent them to the fighting pits?
That was weeks ago. The cultist would have killed them by now.
But I must check the cages anyway, just to be sure.
What's the point? You want to make a difference? Kill the Bloodborn. Nothing else matters.
Boy, isn't he pleasant. Yeah, more beastmen! With really bad pathing. Yeah, but now that I think about it, I was thinking about what lore can I talk about, since I haven't really covered a lot of lore in this whole playthrough. Granted, I don't know a ton of Warhammer Fantasy lore. I mostly just know about stuff to complain about when it comes to Age of Sigmar, but I know Prague, at one point, I think this might actually be the point in the timeline where Chaos messes it up, and as a result, Chaos ends up getting pushed out, and the Kislevites retake it, but the place ends up being warped by Chaos. Like, they rebuild some walls, and like all the gargoyles end up looking all deformed, and like essentially the corruption of Chaos pervades the land. That's a really cool little bit, because compared to 40k where they're just like, oh, Chaos was here, let's just nuke it and leave. In this, they're like, hey, you know, we kind of have to live here. We don't get the privilege of being able to just shift planets. Oh yeah, I always forget my Dryad. I don't know where that Dryad went. I threw it, and it's... Guess my Dryad went bye-bye.
Focus.
There's the Dryad. Yeah, Prague has some issues. Kislev's also, I believe, where the whole bear cavalry meme came from, because I think they have bear cavalry.
I need to prepare myself.
Which is kind of hardcore. Wish it was used in, like, Total War Warhammer. That would be pretty neat. Unfortunately, there's not more else I know about Kislev. Oh, there's the Tsarina, who, at least for the end times, was a mage who can control ice, which is pretty cool. It's also kind of neat how, like, the Empire has these mage colleges. But of course, if you study Shaesh, which I think is the Wind of Death, or at least death magic, they just kill you. Just like, oh, you know necromancy? Well, now we have to stop that. Now, I always understand, like, there's negative connotations to necromancy. That is obvious. And I understand the fear of it and wanting to keep people from learning it. But at the same time, why wouldn't you want a handful of mages to at least understand it? So that should necromancers, show up, you have a good understanding of how they operate. Like, yeah, you can have a book made by, like, a witch hunter or something who's like, hey, this is what they do, it does X, Y, and Z. But I always feel like you don't fully understand it. Because it's kind of like dealing with animals and only knowing what a hunter tells you. It's like, yeah, you know how to hunt them, but you don't know much past that. Like, if you had people who understood necromancy, maybe you could do something about, like, when Vlad von Karstein gets his whole undead army and starts busting up the Empire. If you had people who understood necromancy and weren't evil, they could be like, hey, so I kind of get how this stuff's working. Here's a way we can maybe counter it. Or just beat the enemy necromancers to the punch and revive your own dead guys. Yeah, it looks bad reviving your fallen soldiers, but honestly, it kind of pays out. They're already dead. They get to serve again for the glory of the Emperor or whatever. And then you let them die when you're done. You don't just keep them around. Like, oh yeah, Todd was a really good soldier. I think I'm just gonna make him into, like, a walking candelabra now. Like, no, just release your control, let him slump back to the ground, throw him in the dirt. It's easy, it's to the point. And honestly, the death magic is way cooler than, like, the light magic. Yeah, light magic has some cool stuff, but it honestly pales in comparison to just, like, any of the Warhammer death magic spells, or even extending that to any fantasy. Any, like, black magic stuff's always cooler. It's the unspoken, agreed upon thing. Follow tracks mastered. I have no idea what that is. I feel like part of me should care, but unless it's a damaging ability, I really can't care all too much. Yeah, give me some crap. Loot. Actually, these are kind of nice. Give me the loot quality trousers. I need better loot quality. Like, I don't want to get whites. Common items suck. It's not like Diablo where I can at least yoink some materials out of them. I will admit though, as far as I've gotten in this game, like, on my own I've just beat this chapter, and I'm on the third chapter, and then I stopped and was like, I should probably, not keep skipping ahead and knowing what happens. But just from where I got, there's still a lot to this game. I will admit, you can piece together some of this, like, Nurgle was Chapter 1, Khorne is Chapter 2, Chapter 3, spoiler alert, it's Slanesh. How that's gonna work, I don't know. Slaanesh Chaos Demons don't really get touched on a lot. Like, Fantasy or 40k, they're not really brought to the forefront of anything. Like, usually a lot of stuff's just like, oh yeah, here's Nurgle again. Nurgle 2, Electric Boogaloo. I'd say, like, in terms of who's the most common enemy of the Chaos Gods in either franchise, it's gotta go Nurgle, Khorne, Tzeentch, Slaanesh. And then, I won't even count them. I was gonna count Malice, but I'm like, Malice doesn't show up in, like, anything. So I feel like it's kind of a stupid move to include him. Games Workshop barely acknowledges Malice. And then the other option would be the Horned Rat. The Horned Rat. Great Rat. Horned Rat, yeah. Because it's Alter the Horned Rat. And, like, I don't count him as a Chaos God, even though he kinda is. Like, I see the Horned Rat as, like, the guy who wants to be the Chaos God, but everybody else is like, I really don't like this guy. He looks weird, he acts weird, he smells weird. So it's like... Plus, at least the other Chaos Gods, it's like, hey, we're worshipped by a bunch of people. The Horned Rat's just like, yo, I got Skaven. That's it. He's got Skaven. I mean, come on, Nagash has more... I don't even know if I'd call them worshippers. At least more people who acknowledge his existence. Granted, Nagash isn't a Chaos God, he's just... From my understanding, he's essentially the founder of death magic.
Impudent worm! Only the mightiest warriors are worthy to enter Khorne's sacred arena!
Look at my very low quality club that I use.
You will pay for your insolence in blood!
Help us, please. Please, before it's too late.
The High Lawmaster was right. I have to help the humans escape.
Oh, it's an ambush. Okay. Let's just melt down these dudes real quick. Okay, maybe a little quicker than this, please. Aha! You missed your swipe. Look at that eye down the lower left. Just looking around, blinking. Also, why do all these gates always go down into the ground? You know how difficult it would be to actually build that? Hey, well, look at that, the Bloodborn ran.
Orson's blessings upon you. We owe you our lives. Thank you, stranger. Thank you.
Go! We haven't much time!
This worm seeks to deny us our sport! Tear her flesh! Crush her bones! Blood for the blood god!
You're forgetting skulls for the skull throne, my guy. Yeah, I just find this funny, like... Oh, he's one of Khorne's champions now, and... Like, Khorne fighters don't pass up fighting. Except this guy, who continually runs. Chance to fight someone? Nah, I'm gonna just summon demons and run away. Jabberslay! I do like that the Jabberslice have different versions.
Before the Bloodborne brings off the city down on me.
Nah, I'm gonna keep fighting. Like, why would I pass up a perfectly good opportunity to fight this thing? I mean, realistically, it's not even that tough. I mean, look at this. This is easy. Easy money, easy loot. Now let's bounce. Yo, Gorchev. Everybody sucks. We freed the guys, and the Bloodborne's a coward.
Well, is he dead? Or was all that for nothing?
Nothing? I saved your people from the Bloodborne.
Why should it matter? Red Axe still rules Prague. The Bloodborne and his minions will keep hunting for victims to fill the fighting pits. As long as they live, all we can do is suffer. Blood calls for blood. We must slaughter them all.
Do not let your hatred consume you, lest you become a servant of Khorne yourself.
How dare you? You think me no different than some murdering barbarian? A monster that bathes in blood and worships demons?
Yes.
Better men than you have sworn themselves to chaos, Leonid Gorchev. Remember that.
It is an offense against the gods to harm a guest in one's home. Leave me, before I do something I might later regret.
Alright, so that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. If you're new, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.